A rundown on some of our Alaska news for Thursday. It is May 25th, 2017. Well, debris removal that was going on in Gastineau Channel, something the fishing game does regularly. They weren't looking for anything in particular. They made a very grisly discovery. A human leg, severed at the knee, still wearing a boot. They said it had been in the water long enough that it was really hard to determine how long it had been in the water, and they have absolutely no idea whose leg it might be. Going to be attempting DNA testing, and if they can't do it themselves, they may have to send it out. So it may be quite a while before they determine where this leg came from. It was still wearing a boot, they said, of the common Southeast Alaska variety, but they wouldn't identify specifically what kind of boot, citing an ongoing investigation. That's the kind of thing nobody likes to pull out of the water. Also, there's a story about a man who was found dead in the salvage yard in Wasilla. They had gotten a report about a man lying face down in the mud. And when they picked him up, he was blue. They took him to the hospital, and he died. The family, they haven't identified him yet publicly, but they did talk to the family. They said he had a history of health problems. A Juneau woman got home to find 2 burglars in her house. She chased them out. They got into a van and drove off. She called police. Police pulled the van over with 4 men inside, and she was identifying the 2 men that were in her house. They arrested those guys. The other 2 they let go, and they don't sure if any other charges might come back on those fellows. But can you imagine coming home to find burglars in your house? What would you do? You remember I mentioned the judge hearing that recall petition, and the members of the council that were being recalled that don't want it to go forward, asking for a judge to ban the city from doing it. The judge said, nope, this is part of the political process. You did something people didn't like. They have a right to get you out of office before your time is up. Iditarod has lost a huge sponsorship. Wells Fargo. They have been a part of the Iditarod for, 30 years? Long-time sponsors. And apparently, it's because of PETA. The People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals has been calling the Iditarod inhumane to the dogs. The fact that a number of dogs have died recently during the race has not helped the case. Those of us who have sled dogs can tell you that the dogs themselves love the running. You know, in terms of any kind of sporting event, you have marathoners that drop dead every year during the marathons, and yet they don't ban marathons. But in this case, the PETA is targeting the sponsors who don't want their name associated with something that causes people discomfort, like thinking about poor doggies being made to run 1,000 miles. Anyway, thanks, PETA. Got the money out of Alaska. A barricaded subject on Monday evening down in Anchorage, now in custody after a 6-hour standoff. Apparently, the fellow had been seen entering an office building with a sword. Police described him as an individual with a history of mental health problems. The building they went into, an office right next to the courthouse, they blocked off the area. 6-hour standoff, man taken into custody. They haven't identified who he is or why he had the sword. But I think generally most people recognize it's not a good idea to walk around in public with a sword. Just the kind of thing that makes people look at you kind of funny. Well, the special session isn't over yet, but the legislators have taken a break for the Memorial Day holiday. Most people get, like a 4-day weekend? Get Friday off and Monday off? Well, most of them went home on Tuesday. So there you go. There's your legislature hard at work. And there was a bomb threat in Fairbanks, or at least they thought it was, an unidentified item left out in front of the Wells Fargo branch over there by Safeway and College Road, called out the bomb disposal unit from Fort Wainwright. Turns out it was a chess set that somebody had just left in the parking lot. And a man in Anchorage brought a homemade bomb to the Anchorage Police Department. He just wanted it disposed of. He said a friend of his said, hey, I've got this homemade bomb. And he figured the best place to take would be the police. Well, they ended up blocking off the entrance to the police headquarters while they tried to defuse or destroy or whatever they did to it. Also, a woman in Eagle River. I don't know how she managed to, if she got in between the moose and her calves or what happened, but she got stomped and is now hospitalized after this attack in Eagle River. That'll be the subject of my commentary today, and about how we need to leave moose alone. Once again, many more stories than we have time for in this short video. Therefore, if you'd like to get 30 to 40 minutes of news delivered directly to your inbox, it's an audio version. Send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com, and I'll give you a sample, and I'll tell you how you can become a sponsor/subscriber. Last story for you to consider today is that the Coast Guard is reminding Alaskans of boating safety during National Boat Safety Week. They say that most of the capsizing, or what leads to drownings, and that 9 out of 10 of those drownings are people who do not have life jackets on. Therefore, wear your life jacket. That's what we've got for our Alaska News. Remember to check out the website, radiofreespeech.com. Thanks.